interviewed.
Okay.
What's going on, y'all? It's Brian and Brian with the message in the machine. My name is Brian Hill. I own a marketing agency that I'm shutting parts of it down and actually beefing up other parts to open up a studio for business owners who want to get into the content creation space. And so that's going to be called the Media Room by I Sell Words. I'll be telling you guys more about it as things get built out.
And I am also Brian, and I own 531 Labs, a marketing agency and operations non-agency, right?
Hmm.
I don't know. I try to figure out how to say it a little better and how to articulate it, but we're not your traditional marketing agency. We do everything that every other marketing agency does, but not until you need it. It's about the system and the process. It's not about selling you something you don't need.
All right. That sounds good because in terms of talking about stuff you don't need, um, you don't need, and I want you to go ahead and give business to business owners, right? I want you to, if you feel like you need to hire a videographer, hire the videographer. What you don't need to do is show up like you're filming a commercial because nobody wants to see your commercial. We're heading into the Super Bowl, the time of where all these advertising dollars are going into commercials, and I feel like there's a level of diminishing returns that they're going to get every single year because people don't want to watch commercials anymore. And so I'm saying that to say this. When I talk about user generated content, just so that I can clarify some things for you, when I say UGC, I'm basically saying content that you as the business owner create and post on social media, because at the end of the day, we are all users or consumers of social media, just to it's just a matter of degree. And so what I'm saying is self-shot content that you create and post on social media, um, why that's important, and why we need to drift away from kind of the commercial model. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think this is a good topic because we talk about this a lot in our groups and stuff, and when we teach people things in our workshops. Um, Basically, and this comes from a my kind of disdain for other agencies as well. I'm not trying to put anybody on blast.
Mhm.
That's not my intent here, but agencies sound like agencies. A commercial sounds like a commercial. An ad sounds like an ad. Brands sound like brands, right?
Mhm.
So the last, you know, it's the last thing we can have for credibility is the owner sounds like an owner, and they have
Right.
to live with the decision they are putting this content out, right?
Right.
Not because owners are saints or anything like that. It's just they're more exposed, and it's for lack of a better way, because I don't want to like beat this horse, but it's more authentic when it's
Mhm.
coming from someone that owns a business and not just some agency putting you out there in this super over produced format,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, I think it kind of humanizes your brand a little bit and shows people that there's actual person behind there. Plus, it does something for accountability. When you have your face attached to whatever you're selling or promoting or whatever your brand is, there's a level of accountability that comes with that because there's a threat of you being recognized in public. There's a threat of people, associating you with good outcomes or bad outcomes. So you're taking an inherent risk, but at the same time, you're really building that trust because you're showing that you believe in your product enough to put your face by it. And I think that's kind of where I'm going with this. I think what happens is we get too caught up in the professional world. Like right now, this is going out on. I've decided to put this on for my LinkedIn audience, right? For LinkedIn, hi LinkedIn. Um,
What's up, LinkedIn?
you guys are too obsessed with professionalism. You're too obsessed with being prim and proper, showing up, looking too buttoned down and everything, and people don't buy it. And so I want to upset the apple cart a little bit and get you guys
Shots
thinking
fired.
outside of the box a little bit and stop trying to out out outdress each other and outperform each other and start really helping each other and start sharing some things that could benefit people and be who you really are, as opposed to this edited version of yourself that's presentable to the world. Now, I'm not saying you need to come out there, um, you know, offending everybody, like Andrew Dice Clay or something. But
Right.
that reference aged me. Oh my
Ooh,
gosh.
I believe you said that.
Yeah. But I don't think you need to do that. But what I'm saying is, I think that there's too much of an obsession with showing up, having everything just right when you show up.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, owners don't need polish, right? So the people don't want like the owners and the people they watch to be influencers necessarily, right?
mhm,
So let's use Crispy Pizza in New York City as an example. Those guys aren't polished video guys.
right.
That's a that's a like an Osmo Pocket 3 or a GoPro or something they're using, and they're just putting people on camera, and these are people doing what they do every day. They're putting content out there like they have skin in the game, and
Right.
what people that's the content that lands. That's the content that gets views. That's the content that people care about. And it's not that it's like overly super authentic. I mean, it is most of the time, but it shows that you got skin in the game,
Yeah.
right?
You leave the mistakes in, you leave the retakes in, you leave the ums and ahs in to a degree where it's not distracting. I know
Mhm.
that there's the people that are really like playing the content creation game on a high level, like whether they have big YouTube channels or TikTok followings and everything. They've realized that if you put a typo into your description or your title, somebody's going to point it out, and that forces an interaction. And so they're even intentionally making mistakes and mispronouncing words and things like that, so people will jump in there and correct them, because we want to engage, and even if it's just a correction action, like we're coming in and saying, hey, you're an idiot, you pronounce this word wrong, it's still a level of interaction, as opposed to where it's so polished that it doesn't even feel like it's a real human being behind the scenes. And I think that's kind of where we're drifting towards, specifically when we have generative AI out there, where it can generate a video of a talking head, and it sounds like, it sounds authentic, except it's too perfect,
Right.
you know.
Like I don't know how fast it's going to get to the point where AI catches up. I'm not here to forecast or speculate.
Mhm.
Um, it will become a problem. I mean, it's already kind of a problem. People see something like, "You see this video? It's not AI, and it really is."
Yeah.
Um, so, but right now, let's just stay in the moment because right now, you know, owner content works because it answers questions buyers won't ask out loud, right? It's like, is this person full of shit? You
Right.
know, and owner shot content lowers that suspicion threshold, right? So not because it's imperfect, like you were just saying,
Right.
it's harder to fake that repeatedly, right? So the more
Right.
content someone puts out, a user or owner puts out, and you get to see that authenticity over and over and over again. You can't fake that stuff. I mean, you just can't. It's not put on, right?
Right. It's not about shine and polish. It's about some real stuff. And I think we see too many business owners, specifically small business owners, they go for this enterprise kind of marketing,
Hmm.
and it comes across hollow, like an empty suit. They publish content that feels super polished, and it does create a space or distance between them and the audience, because it's hard to reconcile. I'm a small business owner, and my margins are barely making it, but then you look like you had $10,000 to drop on a commercial with a local
Right,
videographer, because it looks too good. I'm not saying that your stuff has to be low quality, and shot on a water bottle or something, but it needs to have some kind of, it needs to look like it's actually you doing it.
right.
um and show the mistakes, show behind the scenes, show something that is real.
Yeah, like owners need to stop thinking of a camera like a marketing tool. It's really I'm being a little facetious here, but it's a credibility filter. Like it's a truth accelerator of who you are, right?
Hmm.
So the camera expose gaps instantly, but you know, being on there and being confident with what you do and being a real owner about what you do and not doing what Brian's saying, like he was explaining, don't be super corporate. Especially like I see retail spots out there doing commercials and stuff, or sorry, doing ads or videos that look like like you're, I don't know, like you're Macy's in New York City or something. You're not. So quit
Yeah.
trying to be super professional, super enterprise, super whatever, you know. Um, yeah, I just think that that's what it's for. It's to put you in a spot for you to speak your truth
Mhm.
authentically and show people who you are so they can know, like, and trust and buy from you.
Well, and that's what I think that's the theme that I'm kind of going with is because there is if the video content is not in congruence with actually what the experience of walking into the establishment is, you're going to have a problem. So if you're presenting this super polished, super over the top, overly produced video talking about how great your business is, and then people walk in and it's just a mom and pop shop, that's going to feel like even if they do business with you, you're planting that seed where it's like, well, they're not really presenting what the real experience is. I know
Mhm.
you want to put your best foot forward, but sometimes just showing, hey, we're a local mom and pop shop, we're trying to make it, and this is our attempt at getting online, is going to connect and resonate with more people than this overly produced thing. Because, like I said, we are programmed to scroll past commercials,
Yes.
and that's kind of what it is. We're programmed to skip them, scroll past them, or whatnot. I think I have a comment here. I'll put it up. AI has been around longer. Do you think it wants us to think it's new and imperfect? It's beyond perfect. Oh,
That's a
oh,
that's a take.
yeah, those are definitely words. So,
Well,
um, and I don't
y
want to. I don't want to be that dismissive of it, but this is not. Well, this ain't the AI conspiracy show. Like that's not what we're about. We're talking about it in application of use as a tool, um,
yeah,
and things like that. We don't want to get off into the the conspiracy theory stuff, the
right.
conspiracy crafting stuff,
I mean,
because
I
that's a
I don't
different
I
rabbit
don't
hole.
disagree with anything. It's been around longer than you think. I don't disagree
Mhm.
with that. It wants us to think it's new and imperfect. I don't know about that, and that's beyond perfect. I don't think so yet.
I mean,
Because it's still, what's funny is AI right now is still user generated, right?
yeah.
It's 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 only as good as the input you
Yeah,
put
well,
in.
and I think when we say it wants us to think, I mean, realistically, it wants us to think implies that it has agency of it in and of itself. And
Right.
it does not have agency outside of itself. Even though you may see these one-off stories where the AI was trying to duplicate itself to keep itself from being deleted and all that other stuff. That's kind of a one-off thing. And we're talking about some pretty advanced models that
Mhm.
people are spending a lot of money and time on. And these are kind of research projects that aren't necessarily open to public consumption. And
Yeah.
so even when you're saying it wants us to think, the reason why it, in that context, I'm imagining there was some layers of redundancy that they kind of informed the AI to possess, so that yeah, it had an incentive to not want to be deleted or whatever. But I don't know. Like I said, I think the idea of it wants us to think implies that there's agency to it, and that's not. I don't think we're at that level quite yet.
No.
Um, but again, this ain't the AI conspiracy show. So um, here's the thing. So I think the thing is, we don't want to put that gap between us and the audience. We don't want to put that gap in their expectations where they expect a certain presentation based on this overly polished, overly slick looking ad that they see on social media, and then they walk into your restaurant, store, or venue, and it doesn't align.
Yeah, I'm all for, like, you know, messiness, right?
Mhm.
Like owner shot content, like I think it works because it is rushed. It is kind of incomplete. It's slightly uncomfortable, right?
Mhm.
But that's exactly what makes it believable, right?
Right.
Because it's really you. Like, to go back to the pizza people, they that's really them. I've been into joints like that where you walk in and they are talking like that and and being loud and kind of, being characters, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of their gig and it's authentically them. And again, I know I'm going to say authentic a lot here, but
Mhm.
I just, the point I'm trying to get across is being real is what is believable and what is working right now.
Right.
if something else was working, I'd tell you that. If I was like, look, don't shoot another video and only do AI videos,
Mhm.
and that was working, I'd tell you to do that. But
Right.
that's not where it's at right
It's
now.
not real. And here's the
Not
thing,
real.
like, and for videographers, they would love to be able to show up to your corporate shoot or whatever you have booked out with them and pull out their phone and get started recording. The reason why, and I knew this going on shoots, you have to come in as a videographer. You got to come in with the single. If you're doing a corporate client, you got to come in with the biggest camera that they've ever seen in their lives, regardless of whether you actually need the biggest camera that anybody's ever seen in their lives, because it conveys this era of professionalism, and they think, hey, this is what's important. But if I told you that somebody shooting a video on their iPhone or walking in with a little Osmo Pocket, if they could shoot with this, with this handheld camera and get better returns, you'd be crazy not to take them up on that. And I think um, you guys, specifically business owners, that is the opportunity that's available for business owners out there. You could come in and win and dominate your space with content that you didn't pay a heck of a whole lot of money for or wasn't too complex to do. You did pay somebody to do it, but they were able to use small cameras, like little tiny things like this, because
Yeah.
I've done a shoot with this one, and get the same kind of outcomes because it doesn't look as polished. You're not using such a large sensor. You're not using, a $2,000 glass on this thing, right?
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
have, I don't have a gimbal. I don't have like a gimbal I'm carrying around. I'm not rocking the stabilizer. I'm not wearing a harness and a vest and all the other stuff. Showing up and shooting as is. Those videos are going to outperform on social media more than the videos with all the equipment and everything.
Yeah.
And that's just how I feel about it.
You're not shooting a Marvel movie, right?
Right.
And I know what you mean. Like I've done video shoots where it's like, I'm charging a certain price because it's value-based pricing is what I
Mhm,
do typically. And, I know that this is going to be a long process. It's, half a day, full day of shooting.
mhm.
And I'm like, I'm charging them XYZ and I feel obligated to use the top high-end equipment, even though in the back of my mind on the workflow, it's like, I don't even need this. Like I'm making this so much harder for myself to like present something. And this is years ago, so I don't do that anymore.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that's the reality of some of these video agencies feel they need to do. Um, and I just
Yeah.
don't think it's reality anymore.
Like, I mean, if your videographer could come and sit down and talk to you and say, "Hey," they show up to you and they're carrying their iPhone and a rig for their iPhone and a couple of wireless mics, and they can give you some content that's going to generate $1 million. I would take them up on that, as opposed to saying, "Well, I need you to go out and rent a red camera." And all the other bells and whistles that come along with all the other headaches that you get with renting a red or RELX or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
All that, because I know, like, those cameras shoot beautiful footage. The color is amazing.
right.
They are also obnoxious to handle. They're obnoxious to deal with. You got to record to a hard drive. You can't even, if your videographer could come in with light gear and get the same kind, get a better outcome, and charge you less because they don't have to rent all this crap and they don't have to
Hmm.
buy, they don't have to bring a gaffer and they don't have to bring a sound guy on set and they don't have to bring lights guy on. If they could come out there and just shoot with their phone and get outcomes, why wouldn't you take them up on it? And I'm telling you, social media is biasing towards that stuff. They
Yes.
want stuff that looks like their users generated it. Hence, user generated content and not corporate stuff.
Yes.
So let's see. And it's not just influencers dancing, okay, or customers,
No.
doing
No.
unpaid commercials. User generated content is you showing what your day to day is. Like you were talking about with Crispy's Pizza, where they're actually showing
Hmm.
behind the scenes of what the process is of, you know opening the shop or making a pizza during lunch, the lunch rush and things along those lines,
Yeah,
showing the real experience.
and we can kind of go maybe deviate a little bit. And
Hmm.
the reason that stuff works, and this is just my take on it for the 23 years I've been doing this marketing thing. The reason it works is because they're consistently putting out content, right? It's
Hmm.
authentic. We can keep saying that, but over time they create it where it's like it's almost episodic, where you want to watch it and you want to watch the next reel or the next short because they've developed they've developed characters, they've developed quips or quick sayings that they use all the time that only now their audience understands when they say it. I mean, if it's your first time watching them, you may not, but like they put out so much content, so much shorts and some long form as well, that they develop this show,
Hmm.
right? And it's just something they do every day. And I know we've talked about that before, where that's where I think Brian wants to get everybody to, is get them to where doing content is habitual
Hmm.
a habitual business trait,
Right.
right? Where it's not something you feel you need to do for marketing. It's
Mm.
something you do because that's what people want to see from you. And it helps across the board. It's not just about like, I'm going to put a content out because we have a special this week and I want more people to come for this special or this event or
Right.
whatever. It's about putting out consistent content all the time, and making and getting rid of that barrier, and just doing it every day or every other day or whatever your cadence is, right? And then people start to expect it from you,
Yeah.
and you get better because the muscle gets stronger, yada yada yada. It's a self-feeding positive loop that I don't understand why we have to constantly educate people on it, because it seems so inherently like a process of business these days and
Well,
not some new thing anymore.
I
I don't know.
think I
I'm
think
ranting a little bit. My bad.
no, I don't. I think where we're going with it though is it's cultivating an audience, right?
Right.
Because like when you look and crispy pizzas is kind of the one we're putting up on the screen. But here's my take on it. Crispy's Pizza is building an audience
Yeah.
based on the content they create. And people are invested in the content because they want to see what it's like behind a pizzeria in New York. And so that's what they want to see, the behind the scenes of it. And so people are invested in the stuff that they post because it's engaging to them on some level. But then as the audience are also the consumers. So New York, the people that watch Crispy's Pizza stuff in New York, that's where they're going to go.
Yep.
They're already in the audience. The pizza looks good. They've had great experiences last couple of times they've been there. That's off the top. That's where they're going to go when they want a pizza. For people that are out of state who come and visit, where do you think they're going to want to go? And
100%.
so they're cultivating an audience, and the audience ends up becoming their client base. Again, I said it on Tuesday at our meeting. The people that pop up in your, like, if you're terrified of launching a YouTube channel, or launching the TikTok channel, or what, Instagram or whatever, you're terrified of the negative comments that people are going to say. Those aren't people that are going to buy from you anyway. Um, the people that jump on there just to correct you or just to bust your balls aren't going to be the people that are going to be your best clients. But a lot of the times, the people that are your best clients, they watch your stuff and they may never comment on it. They may never even give a like, but they saw it and they're part of your audience and they like what you do or they agree with you. And so they're still going to patronize you. And so it ends up becoming this audience developing thing. And to be quite honest with you, if you watched what the CEO of YouTube was talking about, that's the world he's kind of envisioning for his platform, where all these channels are businesses and the business is serving the audience, and the audience, they can monetize the audience by saying, okay, so we have a line product or services with what the video talked about. And so that's the world that we're moving into. And so if you're active on social media as a business owner, why not take advantage of the fact that social media is giving priority to
100%.
videos that are shot by you?
Yeah. Don't worry about funnels or having some sort of mascot or something like that.
Yeah.
Just, this is who I am and this is how I think. Here I am, world. Decide if you like me or not.
Right.
I don't really care.
Ooh, I want to follow up on this concept of funnels. Let's talk about funnels real quick.
Hmm.
Um, this idea that we were sold, and I know, for those that have been in the internet marketing space as for as long as I have, we've gone through all the phases of, Russell Brunson coming up with the entire funnels thing and creating a
Hmm.
product based on click funnels and all the other stuff. I'll be honest with you guys. Funnels are great. Um, but I think what we're losing the plot is you want to roll with a minimal level of complexity to that funnel. You want it to be as complex and elaborate as it needs to be to reach the audience you're trying to engage. And
Yeah.
I think people are over engineering this concept of funnels. And the way to flatten the funnel is create content. People watch the content. There's a link in the description. They go to the link and they do business with you.
Yeah.
Period. You don't need to have this entire exorbitant landing page. You don't need to have squeeze pages. You don't need to walk them through all these other processes and stuff like that, because you start losing clients like that, especially if they're engaged or invested. You use
Yeah.
those funnels to warm up cold traffic, not people that are already watching your stuff.
100%. And clearly there's caveats to that.
Yeah.
There's certain businesses that, their flat funnel
Hmm.
is typically something they do need to set up. If you're a service-based business, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, stuff like that, there is a simple flat funnel for you as well. But it's typically a what I sell to clients is a missed call funnel.
Yeah.
And that's typically the flat funnel we use for service-based businesses. And that's, you know they call a phone number after hours and then they don't get you. You need
Hmm.
something in place to figure that out. But that that's that is something you need, but it's not something that needs to always be tied to the content, from what Brian's saying, right? Like,
Yeah.
worry about getting consistent and getting the habit of doing content, and then worry about that funnel, um, that flat funnel. I think is the next step.
Yeah.
That's your graduation,
Right.
um, to doing content on a consistent basis. Because putting one video out there and then developing a whole funnel based on that one video, and you've never done video before,
Hmm.
you're not going to see results, and you're going to have a bad taste in your mouth from whoever you worked with, because I did a video like you told me to do, and I put a funnel out there and it's not working. I got no extra business. Well, that's not how it works. It's consistency with your content,
Hmm.
and then you can develop a funnel when you start getting an audience.
Yeah. Oh, and it's like Brian. So how do I make it simple on myself? How do I make the content process simple? I'll tell you one real easy way, especially if you have kids. If you have a child, you have a teenager, and they have a phone. Say, I will pay you to help create content for my business. I'll pay you to create and run the TikTok channel for our business. The kid will probably they'll probably say, "This is my Christmas, y'all. I'm getting
Yeah,
paid to record and make TikToks or YouTube videos or whatever." I'm telling you right now, if you are a parent, you have a social media expert living in your house more times than not.
100%. And this is anecdotal, but I'm gonna say, because I have a preteen and a teenager,
Hmm.
and
Oops.
it's anecdotal for me to say this, but I would say 95% of them and their friends are able to use CapCut, edit videos,
Hmm.
post on TikTok, do the captions, everything. They're not using a bunch of tools.
Mm-mm.
They just inherently know how to do these things. So Brian's right. You can pay them to do content for you, and they know how to do it.
Hmm.
It's not hard for them like it is for. I'm not a boomer, but
Yeah.
it's hard for people our age.
Let me explain something to you. I know how to use. I've used Final Cut. I've used DaVinci Resolve. I've used
100%.
Premiere Pro. I've used all the video editors. CapCut is like staring into the human brain for me. I don't understand it. It doesn't make visual sense to me. I don't know how it works, but these kids are able to whip up stuff on CapCut on their phones, quick. And so, the entire template process doesn't make any sense. And here's the thing: I don't care enough to learn it right now. You know, I
Yeah.
know that I know, there's entire, it's really easy to do supposedly. I don't want to deal with all that stuff. But if you have a teenager or preteen in your house, they can absolutely help with marketing your stuff because they know this stuff intuitively.
Hmm.
Because this is how they communicate. This is how they interact with their friends. My daughter has an entire Discord chat that her and her friends are on, and they play D&D and all kinds of other stuff on it. That's just what they do. And this is their level of understanding. I have a Discord server I've never touched because it doesn't make any sense to me. Um, and so the kids intuitively know this. So tap in with the people in your house that are actually connected to the social media sphere. Because here's the thing: as we start moving in, YouTube is watched on. People are watching YouTube on TVs, and I'm not talking about YouTube TV. I'm talking about your regular run of the mill YouTube. That stuff is going on the big screen. That's how they're
100%.
consuming it.
It's the only way I watch it typically.
Yeah, and you need to take advantage of the fact that that's what YouTube is wanting. They're wanting people to upload videos. So why not let it be your business video, but with the caveat that it doesn't need to be this $50,000 highly produced thing. It just needs to be what you do on a day-to-day basis, how you got into the business.
On that same note, like this is going off a little bit side
Mhm.
quest, but like that guy that he just got kind of shunned from Hollywood a little bit because of that politics and everything. But
Mhm.
like he just put out a movie. Mark Plyer, is that his? He's a YouTuber.
Yeah,
Did like a $20 million movie or something even cheaper than that. And he was like number one, number two, top three in the box office over the last weekend.
right.
And he did everything himself, acted in it himself. He's just a YouTuber. And they kicked him out of the even though he was top 3 for the weekend,
Mhm.
all of a sudden he didn't appear on the list anymore of his box office, earnings
Yeah,
for whatever reason. But, he's all over the news now, but so everybody's watching his movie. But my point is that's where we're at, like, in society. I'm not saying you should, like, produce movies and whatever. I'm saying it doesn't take much, and people are watching YouTube and all the other platforms more than they're watching TV and other movies, right?
right.
And that's what Brian's getting at. It's just you can keep riffing on it. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
That's fine. Keep going.
it's just I'm just saying it doesn't take much. And if that's where people if that's where the platforms are begging for the content, and I say this on almost every live stream, either do it or don't, but doing nothing does nothing
Right.
for your business. And I'll beat that dead horse every episode on this live stream. This all sounds because what I inherently run into, and Brian does too, is well, I don't have time or I can't do it. Make time.
Right.
I don't have the bandwidth. Make bandwidth.
Mhm.
Give up something else. You
Yeah.
know, this is the reality that you live in now. If you want to keep floundering, you want to keep worrying and stressing, then don't do this.
Yeah.
If you want to scale enough where you can stop worrying about every single detail, because that should be, in my opinion, that should be the goal of every business. The first very large goal is to get to a point where I don't got to do everything,
Right.
is where I get my bandwidth back. That's my goal. And how do I do that? I have to scale. I have to get more income, revenue coming into the business so I can let go of some of that bandwidth. And
Uh,
this is a path to that.
well,
Producing content and getting content out there
yeah.
is a path to that.
And so I think it kind of falls into the, this is the old school, this is the business owner's thing right here. And so from a business owner standpoint, the goal is you do the stuff that you like, you hire somebody to do the stuff that you don't like or you're not good at, and that's you live in that happy place. And
Mhm.
then, that frees you up to do the other things that are necessary for the business. I get into it as a marketing agency, and this is part of what drove me to the point where I'm like, I want to close the agency side of it and not do the done for you work as much, because what I was running into is people treat marketing as this appendage to their business,
Mhm.
like this extra thing that needs to be done, as opposed to the engine that runs their business, the engine that delivers clients to their doorstep, the process that allows the clients to have a great customer experience. That is all marketing. And that all comes down to um, sitting there and really thinking about it as a holistic thing, where marketing is your business regardless of what your business is. Even if you're a nonprofit, marketing is the thing that's driving donors and driving people to come seek your services for help. And so for me, when people treat marketing as this extra line item expense or something that they can opt out of, it ends up becoming frustrating, because then you end up shutting your brain off, hiring a marketing agency, and then they end up just doing marketing to your business, and the stuff that they create isn't really who you are, and then your customers, their bullshit detectors go haywire, because that's what
Hmm.
happens.
Yeah, and I think that's what I've run into more in my career than any other thing is, and why sometimes I have a hard time um, choosing clients. And I say choosing clients because I go in and I work with people, and it is like that. They just are treating marketing like this thing they feel they have to do, and
Uh-huh.
and if that's the case, I don't. It's a huge red flag for me not to work with them because they don't value marketing, and I'm not here to beat the drum of uh, marketing's important because I own a marketing agency. No, marketing is everything that I think that's might be one of the biggest things is people don't know what marketing actually is in a business.
Right.
Like it's damn near everything outside of the product or service itself,
Right.
right? It's if you're a nonprofit putting on an event, that's marketing. If you're having a phone call, that's sales, but how you deliver that sales call is a customer experience, which comes back to
Marketing.
marketing.
Yeah.
It's everything in the business, and I'm with Brian where it's I'm stepping away from the traditional agency type stuff because I refuse to sell something to somebody that they do not need. That here's the deal: you don't come to me and tell me as the marketer what you need,
Right.
and I'm not trying to say that in some I don't know argumentative way, but if you knew what you needed, why the hell would you call me,
Right.
right? So like I'm here to help and not educate in the sense of like explain marketing to you. You know, you just need to I think the education we need to put out more is letting people know what marketing entails because like you said, they feel like it's this extra appendage you just add on to your business.
Right.
It's like no, it's it's the heartbeat of your business.
Well, I think, and this is maybe a good analogy here if you're a football fan, it's the difference between um, the Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones era Cowboys and what we're seeing on the field right now. Okay. When Jerry Jones hired Jimmy Johnson, he hired a coach. For better or worse, he hired a coach. And the coach coached and did the stuff. And Jerry Jones kind of sat there and did what the owner does, which is, make the deals and all that other stuff. At some point, it got inverted where Jerry Jones thought he was the coach of the team and started doing coaching and started trying to take coaching responsibilities and stuff. And yeah, this is why they are who they are right now, because you have somebody who doesn't want to hire the coach and let the coach do their job. And unfortunately, that's what happens to a lot of people with marketing agencies. You get hired by the business and you kind of tell the business, hey, these are my recommendations, what I need you to do, um, in order to bring your marketing in line with what your expectations from a revenue standpoint are. And it turns into a fist fight
Mhm.
behind the scenes in a battle for control. And so when you hire the specialist, you need to allow the specialist to assess dispassionately, because that's kind of what they need to do with your business in order to have success. And
Yep.
you're going to have to let go of some of that stuff. And so right now, the specialists are telling you, you need to get either hire somebody, you need to get in front of a camera and show who your business really is and give an identity to your business. You need to do that now. You need to find a way by hook or by crook. And you can hire a videographer that will do the same thing, but that needs to be your instructions to the videographer too. I want this to not be as polished and not look as clean. I want it to look like it's shot on a cell phone, because
Mhm.
that's what people are going to interact with.
100%. I don't even know how to add to that. I mean, that's the reality. I mean, and I would say don't. Uh, I'm being argumentative and taking shots again, but hire a videographer. Don't hire a marketer that does videography. I mean, and I'm even talking to. I don't do it anymore because of
Yeah.
that. Because it's like I don't. I haven't perfected, for lack of a better word, videography to the point where I should be doing high production stuff for big clients or anything like that. It's just not. It's not in my wheelhouse. Definitely not anymore. That's why I stopped doing it. So it's like hire a videographer if you want videography done,
Yeah.
but hire a marketer when you need marketing. And
Right.
if you don't know what you need in marketing, you're in a better spot than most because people that think they need XYZ marketing, SEO, I need a new website, I need to
Hmm.
do social media. People that think those things, those are the people I'm constantly fighting with when I get in the room.
Hmm.
And Brian's right. Like if I lay out a whole plan for that it's literally a map from start to the revenue goal that you're trying to hit, and then you start telling me, well, I don't want to do this, and I don't think we have time for this. You're breaking the machine.
Yeah.
And now a good marketer will tell you, well, this is kind of the only way. We can see if we can maneuver it and do some other things that get the same result. That's fine. But if we can't, then this is not going to happen. It's a red flag for me. If somebody says, "Yeah, we'll take that piece out. We'll take that piece out. We can still get you your revenue goals."
Mm.
They're just trying to get the deal.
Right. Well, I'll make the distinction because I do the video, I do the marketer who does video stuff, right?
Mhm.
And I just know some stuff about cameras and things along those lines. Here's the thing: when you hire a videographer, you're hiring somebody who specializes in the visual media, visual art
Yes.
form, right? Um, but there's a new hybrid of videographers that are also really, really, really adept at marketing, and that's kind of their wheelhouse and their strong suit. And so, seek out those videographers.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I should clarify that
Mm.
that if you get a marketer, it's like, well, I don't do high production, but I give you videos and will help you produce videos that work with the system I'm building for you.
Yeah,
That's different than high production stuff. So yeah,
yeah.
you're right. That I throw that caveat in there too.
Because there's nothing wrong with high production. I'm not saying there's something wrong with high production,
Right.
but that shouldn't be your only video output.
Yeah.
Like if you're looking at it like, does this look like it's going to win an Oscar? You're fighting the wrong battle.
Right.
Your beginning and end is, does this thing make money or generate leads for me?
Yeah.
If it does, keep it. If it does not, you need to rethink what you're doing.
And maybe we clarify that a lot of the content Ryan and I are talking about is the everyday content,
Yeah.
right? That you need to build that muscle and do on a consistent basis. Like clearly, if you are, I don't know, let's say you're putting on some major event or something, you're gonna want somebody that knows how to do video and audio production, right? And you want it recorded and you want to use that stuff for later down the road marketing.
Yeah.
You want to record an event. That's That's completely different than the content we're really talking about,
Yeah.
right? It's the everyday content that you should be putting out, owner generated or user generated content that you should be doing it and not needing to have it super polished.
Well, and I think maybe the delineation is, you have your stuff that you put on your
Right.
billboard material, where people are looking and saying, okay, it looks like it's a legitimate organization, versus your daily driver kind of content that people are viewing on their social media, getting a laugh or getting a tickle out of, or getting some kind of tip, or deriving something emotionally out of that piece of content. And they're like, okay, now I want to engage with these people. I want to go do business with them in a real way.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference. If you run like, here's the thing, and I'll give you guys a freebie. If you own auto shop, like if you're a mechanic, right, and you have your own little small shop out there, if you get on camera, spend 5 or 10 minutes, maybe an hour a week, recording content, telling people how to do very simple car maintenance things, or tips, things that they didn't think of. The importance of making sure that you always have caps on the air stem on your tire, things along those lines that people don't think about. things that will keep them out of the shop, little tiny small maintenance things that they can do, or even stuff like how to change your own oil. That's going to do more for your business than you just, hey, I'm such and such, come on down to such and such's auto mechanic shop and come, we'll treat you right. Give them some value in exchange for their time. Show them something they didn't know. If you could do that, that's going to do more for your business than anything else. And that's what we're
100%.
talking about. That's the content. You can shoot that with your own phone. All you got to do is all you have is a phone, tripod, and a light, and you're ready to rock and roll.
100%.
Keep it simple, but at least do something. Don't do nothing and then be mad when you don't get any outcome.
Right. Because doing nothing does nothing.
Right. That is the realest thing. That's about as honest as we can keep it. So, looking at the time, looks like it's about that time to get things rolling. Let's put a pin in this one. I want to come back to it because I got segment 3, basically talking about why algorithms favor user-generated style content, self-shot video, because there's a very specific reason why. And so we'll put a pin in it and come back to that one. But I do appreciate your guys' time. I'm in the process, like I said, I'm in the process of building out my own content studio for business owners where I can teach you the process. So you're getting coaching, you're getting consulting, and you're going to probably leave with some videos. And so I'm trying to bring all of that stuff in-house. And so that's what I'm doing. So stay tuned for that. Brian, what do you have coming up?
Maybe we can talk about this sometime. I'm currently building Skynet. It's going to take over the world and terrify everybody. So now, to be serious though, I'm building this. If anybody's not heard about it, CloudBot or MoldBot, Moltbot, OpenClaw. This is a new AI thing out there. I like to call it a harness rather than, it's not like a ChatGPT or whatever where it's a new model or anything like that. It's more of a harness to help you build massive systems to help you run your business. It may not be something for this channel, but if I can get something that might be entertaining or helpful for people to know, I'll spit some of that here too.
Well, and then we're also building a community for the message in the machine where you
100%,
get access to us.
100%.
And so we're in the process of building that out so that you guys have basically a consultant that you guys have pretty consistent access to. I don't want to say 24/7 access, but you get a chance to pick our brains and ask us questions directly about marketing stuff and be in a community with other business owners who we're going to encourage to do business with each other. And so if that's something that you're interested in and being a part of that community, when you see this video, leave a like and let us know, hey, I would be interested in that. And we'll let you know when it's ready to launch. So that's what we got.
100%.
So
thanks everybody.
I appreciate your time. Talk to you guys later. See you next week. Message in the machine. Peace.
See ya.